We are going to talk all things Sizzle and trailers today. I guess one of the things that I really want to sort of start our basis of our conversation with is the selling versus the watching. So if I'm a filmmaker, I have two reasons to make a trailer or a sizzle. One, I'm trying to sell it to a distributor, or two, I'm trying to get audience butts in the seats. What do you feel like is the biggest difference between those two trailers?
The biggest challenge there is you feel, I don't know, personally, with my experience, you probably feel more kind of like restricted when you're selling for a distributor or making it for a producer needs. But usually producers go already with some kind of distribution in mind. So they have like those kind of frames, right? When you make it for the audience, then I feel like as an editor, you have a lot more freedom, creative freedom to create. And usually my process is I'm putting what my creative input into that, doing the best I can, and then I give it away to whoever approached me to create that trailer and kind of like I've done what I could, and then going through the notes, we make those changes to the final product where whether it's a director or producer says, Okay, we're good, this is final." So, and I think that's the answer. Yeah, being
You
constrained by
said, well, you told me you had worked with somebody who they were making a trailer specifically for a very specific distributor. So they had to have
yeah.
certain elements. Can you talk to us about that trailer? And I don't know if you're allowed to mention the distributor, but like just what did that distributor want? What did you have to put into that trailer so we can kind of understand the difference?
Okay. The film was a horror genre and it's called On Side. It's a pretty low budget indie film, but they got kind of pre-distribution based on the film, but they needed a trailer. And the direction was pretty straight to the point. It's like it have to be very fast-paced, very emotionally like impactful. And I just had to cut that trailer. And I think we went through like 8 rounds of notes until we got there. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
So for the distributor's sake, they were finding those different elements, is what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah. So might if you want to get into like details, I just basically watched the film, like got the bits. Sometimes there were random bits that would work visually, just visually, that it could apply some sound effects underneath, and which may not even make sense, but the put stick together so visually as a whole thing it would look impactful and will sell the film. Yeah.
I feel like one of the things that if I'm thinking about something that I'm trying to sell to a distributor, whether it's TV or film, almost always I want it to be, well, not always. If it's a drama, that's different. But like TV especially, it's like I want to be fast and exciting, and you're throwing in graphics. Serge does like all of my trailers, guys. All my sizzles. You're throwing in, you're throwing in graphics and all this stuff. So basically, you're taking my 30-minute show and you're making it exciting. You're taking like say 6 episodes of 30-minute show and you're making it exciting. You're making it seem like there's so much action, which it may
Mhm.
not be the case when you watch the show. But then when you do this stuff that's for a distributor for a film, or more importantly, to get butts in the seats for a film, we're working on story, we're talking characters, we're trying to hit them in the heart, we're pulling out emotion, we might be taking more time with it. Unless, of course, it's a comedy, then you're pretty much always fast and fast. You said you did a trailer once. You did 5 different trailers in order to for some reason. Can you talk to us about that? Like why did you have to do 5 different trailers and what were they looking for and what happened in the end?
Oh yeah. Okay. So there was a film called Wildfire that was sold to Gravitas Ventures, and what happened? I've worked with this director before, Jennifer Cooney. I had another trailer I did for her film. She's editing all her films herself, but like as for trailers, she comes to me. And first trailer, like I did as usual thing. I put all my input into it's a feature film. I put all my input. We did it like a full, like about 2.5 minutes trailer. And then from there, what happened is because there was about like 7 characters and kind of capturing those 7 characters, stories and how everyone's like intertwined. And it was like all about the story, and it's like heavy emotional drama, people with a lot of secrets. And to capture that story fully and show what this film is about, but also not to show too much, it was pretty challenging. And only because of that, we decided to split that effort, create what would be sort of a teaser that you can take and go and shop around already for potential distribution, and then create a few different trailers that are going to have different emotional kind of levels and direction, so to speak. And yeah, that was a challenge in that sense, but it was kind of fun. I've never done this before. And then in the end, the creators they chose one of those trailers to use to sell the film.
It's so much work, and yet the distributors don't pay a dime for any of that stuff that you're
Yeah.
doing for them. Um, so I want to remind everybody who came on a little bit later that this is for you. So if you have specific questions as we're going about your films or something you have going on or something that you came here to learn that we're not talking about, please raise your hand or put your questions in the box because we're here for you. Um, let's talk a
Yeah.
little bit about thinking ahead. So as filmmakers, we're just trying to get our movie, we're trying to get the money, and then we're trying to get the movie done, and then we're trying to get through post, and then we're like, shit, I need to make a trailer. What do you wish filmmakers would think about when they're on set before they actually finish filming for you for trailer's sake? Are there any elements?
Other than I don't know, is that even possible? You go you go on set, right? You're limited to the time, you're limited to the budget, and all these like 100 things to think about. I'm sure there are some projects that are getting shot to edit, which is mainly this concession happening to in pre-production. But I mean, as an afterthought about like making a trailer out of it, it's really kind of hard because like my whole experience is like I usually take the film that's already been done and shot and
But
just
think
make
about the
something out of
things
it.
that because I've had you say things and be like, oh, I wish we had this or that. Like, think about those those things where you're like, this line would have been great. Like, I almost feel like as filmmakers, and I'm guilty of not doing this as well, but filmmakers should think about their trailers. Like, you and I should sit with the script before I go
Hmm.
to set and go,
Hmm.
let's point out what the trailer, let's write the trailer from this script. What would you
Hmm.
edit? So that way, if there's a specific line or something you need, we make sure that's delivered on camera because you might get a
Hmm.
finished product and that line was a pivotal line and it could have been a great line for the trailer, but now we're on the other person's face for the actual
Yeah.
film cut. And then you have to dig through all the takes, all the footage, trying to find pieces that work. Um, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
I think it's all coming down to like a very simple thing, just logging. Even the when the entire film is cut, just log in those moments and send it like even just like a text log. Please, we want these pieces in the actual trailer that we think are going to be beneficial. And I think simple as that will help. Nevertheless, I would, in my experience, still watch a film and, dissect it to the point where I need to understand obviously what the story is and feel it through. But yeah, just like a simple like a list of those like moments and time, even time codes, whichever way is going to be easier, will help definitely.
How often are you the trailer editor, but not the film editor?
Um, let's say I was very much a trailer editor during COVID. Because what happened, all the production was shot. I was actually on the TV show before it all got shot, and I was working in Glendale, and my producer just gave me a check, said I cannot hold you anymore. So I went home, like everyone else knows, probably. Everyone else went home. There was nothing like for a few weeks, and I thought, well, God, I really need to do something. So I started just like aggressively call my entire network and see what's happening, and find out that quite a lot of people had edited their films, but they just on the shelf. And it's like have no distribution, anything like that, nothing, no promotional material done. And it's like, and that's where I kind of came in, whether some of them need to finish in visual effects or colors, or like a lot of those was trailers. And I think that was the period of me actually making quite a lot of trailers and actually learning more how to do that. Um, but if we're talking about now, it's kind of I'm more on a long form. Right now, I'm editing TV series
Well, like I'm saying,
for
like
Call of Duty.
if you're editing someone's TV series, are they also
Yeah.
going edit my trailer? Because a lot of people think they have to go to a separate editor, or some people think
Yeah.
they're supposed to use their
Mm.
film editor for their trailer, and not all film editors or TV editors make good trailer editors. Like you're an anomaly that you can do both, I think.
That is correct. It's all depending on um more on a budget actually, because if the production got enough budget, they rather separate those hats, like so every one person wear a different hat, right? So if they have like their own editor for the show, they rather to give trailer to somebody else. But if the budget is kind of like compressed, then they rather hire an editor who can do the show and the trailer and whatever other promotional content is there.
I think trailer editing is such an art. Like I can edit if I need to. I hate it, but I can edit anything. But I can't edit a trailer. I just there's such an art to like putting finding those knowing those moments coming sticking out to you and making it with no notes from me because that's what you do. Like I don't think I've ever given you pre-notes. I've just been like, here, what would you do? And then I give you some notes after maybe, and they're usually
Yeah,
minimal.
I think like trying to put it like in a technical way, think of, like put it on different head when I'm doing the trailer, because obviously like you need to put a story together in such a short amount of time, and it's definitely so much different compared to editing long form. And yeah, yeah, it's experience and yeah, having a different head when I'm doing that kind of work.
Dee Dee says, in verticals, producers pick out the trailer moments at script stage and then make sure they have them in the way they want them on set. So I don't know. I think filmmakers, we should be thinking about that too. We're just not because we're too busy doing 6,000 other things as any filmmakers. I would be curious, people is there anybody here who's like here because you want to start doing trailer editing, or is everybody here more like filmmakers looking to know how to sell? Because that also will help us guide this conversation the right way. Um, so feel free to put that in the chat. Giannis says, do you use stock footage, film for the project footage? What percent split between them do you use? Also, do you record your own audio if you need extra dialogue? Asking for pitch sizzles specifically, which again, I think influences a good idea example of that because for that sizzle, we had to find music and license it, and you had to use a little bit of found, a little. So if you want to talk about how you approach all the
Yeah,
elements.
I can answer that because I had situations like this before. I would say it's the stock footage is all about the production value. So I think if you start to go like the stock footage route, unless it's something like one-off shot that's never been used ever, anywhere else, that's probably fine if you paid for it separately. But I would like not do that because then it's devalues the production value, if you know what I mean. Um, rather not to go that way. With sound is a bit different in the lines because you can always pick those up. Um, just to benefit the sizzle or a trailer, um, if you haven't found that within the actual film on the series or whatever you edited in trailer for. But yeah, visuals is kind of like that. I don't know. That's my experience. And like when I worked with some other directors or producers, when I would say like, hey, we can put a stock footage of this. So for example, like there's here's like example. There's sometimes the films that have no like aerials or overall, but this is what it needs like to start off like and open up like where the location hits because you have to establish location, you have to establish the characters straight away as soon as possible. And um there's no really nice footage to put in the film, but it seems to be sold, right? That's where I do come to my client and say like, hey, we probably need to put some kind of stock footage. And sometimes they go for it. Sometimes they would say, hey, but we do understand that this is going to devalue the production because stock footage could be seen anywhere else, and there's no way to track it. So that's my answer.
I think also the thing is, people want to just put in music, like say from an Artlist type site, but they don't realize that like once you use that music from Artlist with your subscription, you have to have a subscription forever as long as that trailer is online. You cannot suddenly just go, I'm going to get it for now and then cancel my Artlist. You're no longer in contract anymore. So I mean, we use Artlist for a lot of stuff because Serge has it and he's like probably gonna be on it forever. But I would say if you have a composer, get original stuff or go to the artist and try to get a deal with them specifically because um you can get yourself in some trouble, especially because a lot of your trailers are living on YouTube and YouTube does checks for this. So we've had those submit that we have a license to YouTube because they wanted to mute us.
Yeah, and if I can like double up on that, I would say if you look at the art list and sites like that, r really works, I think, with the anything to do with the kind of reality TV show, game shows. That's okay. I think like it's really good because I've seen a lot of companies, production companies use that. But if you go like for a trailer, trailers for those like fine because that's the music you used. But if you go like something like cinematic and like narrative, I think you need to go the composer route. Me, for example, I butted up with somebody like about 4 years ago and just have that person on my side just in case if I need to do a trailer and there need to be like original music in there, and I just charge appropriately so I can pay that person as well. And more than anything, you have a friend over there, and who you work with all the time, and it's a collaborative, and there's a lot of benefits to that.
So looking at everybody's comments, almost everybody here is a filmmaker, but almost everybody here is saying they want to learn how to generate or they want to learn how to sell their shows and films. So we'll definitely focus on that. And then one filmmaker wants to learn how to promote his own work, like edit trailers himself and generate additional income. Um, Corey says, I've cut a lot of development sizzles for filmmakers and studios. The big hot button topic is always budget. There's always zero or near zero budget for these production concept trailers. How do you structure your rates with filmmakers or suggest to them how they get their project off the ground at this no budget level while also protecting your own side as an editor? I think Serge
Right.
is learning the art of F you pay me since I've known him. He's getting better about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, every case, since I'm mostly in independent world, I'm just like discussing before we even get into it. I'm just discussing what can I get compensation for, but because you have to get compensated for your time. You're not getting as an editor any kind of back end. You're not getting any kind of benefits apart from like probably going to Premiere. So thinking like outside of the box, beyond that, this is a job. One thing I would say. Yeah, working with the budget that they have, and usually they don't have much budget left because it's post-production, right? Unless you're talking to somebody who just going in production and you already establish your numbers before that, which is the best
That's
case
where you need to do
scenario.
it.
Yeah,
Yes. Because
that's like,
filmmakers, everybody says, don't worry about marketing. The distributor will do that. No, the
yeah,
distributor will not do that. You are paying for that. So put it in
yeah.
your budget from the beginning. Don't try to find it later.
But then there's another case where people say like, hey, well, why don't we do this for a lower budget, but the next thing we're gonna pay you in full. And that's where the
Mm-hmm.
question is that my mentor kind of like told me one of the very many wise things he told me is like, just try to assess and do your best assessment and ask yourself a question. Is this the person I'm going to be working for next 10 years down the line, right? If that's the case, then yeah, then you can choose your pick and choose your battles, right?
Also, I want to say make sure you guys are getting contracts, even if it's friends,
Yep.
that say, I'm getting this much up front, I'm getting this much on delivery. You get two revisions. After two revisions,
Mm.
it's this much money, especially with friends, because it's hard to tell them no. Um, I'm the type of director who's like, I know if I'm not paying you a lot, I'm gonna give you like one round of notes and that's it. I'm not gonna work you to death. But not everybody thinks that way, especially people who've never edited. They don't understand how hard it is if you say, move this one clip. Yeah, that one clip moves the entire thing around. I can't just replace it. And they don't understand that. So protect yourself that way as well. Um, and then one more thing on the for the people who are trying to edit to generate income, what would you say is your, how do you generate new clients? Do you have any advice on that?
Um, I would have one advice before COVID happened, and after this, th now it's a very different picture. I would say, like, forget about any old models, right? Like right now, the true thing is that like I'm only working off my network. That's it. So to grow in your network, whichever way is possible, you're doing a good job by starting just you're doing your good job, and somebody, your clients, some of them become your friends, and then we tell other people, definitely word of mouth. As much as there's so much like social media right now and all that stuff, cold calling works sometimes. Some of the websites like Production Hub, they work as well sometimes, but there's the best case scenario is a referral by mouth, word of mouth. Um, that's how it works for me, and working for like 8 years now, going, yeah, and then this is like a big and small world, and your reputation will speak by for itself.
I would say too, if you can get a couple, even if you do them for free, a couple samples of really good trailers under your belt. One thing I would highly suggest is making friends with film festival programmers and managers, and being like, "Hey, I'll make my service available to your members, and I'll cut them for half the rate or whatever." Or reaching out to filmmakers who are going to be going into festivals because they don't have trailers and they need them. In theory, they should. I didn't never
Yeah.
made for festivals, but I'm a snob. Um, okay, so let's guys continue to ask these questions. They're great. I want to kind of back us back up to like what makes a good trailer, and then we'll talk more about Giannis's thing, which is making a sizzle reel that's to pitch a project.
Mhm.
So trailer wise, if you're trying to sell your film to say a Gravitas, a Vertical or somebody, um, you want it to look expensive. So your trailer to them might be a little different than maybe your trailer you're going to use for the audience to get them to come watch your movie, even though it's probably very similar, if not the same. And so my advice is always use the biggest, grandest, most expensive looking movements and shots intertwined with those acting moments that grab at you. And if you don't have those in your film, you need to be putting them into your film anyway, because you want your film to look more expensive. You can get people have drones who want drone footage. They'll come and do it for very cheap. They want Steadicam footage. They want to use their toys. So you need to be out there adding this stuff to your film to make it look more expensive, but definitely for your trailer. Serge, you're nodding, so I'm assuming you agree with that.
Yeah, I do agree. Ground visuals with dialogue underneath, that's already start to tell the story. And then but once you start to introduce characters, try to pronounce name pronunciation, character on screen straight away. Those are like kind of like key points, and try to get to that as soon as possible. Character introduction, then tell the story. Yeah.
I would love to know if anybody here has done, we're talking again about your film trailer. You're trying to get butts and seats at a festival, at a theater screening, you're trying to get your film trailer done for distribution. If anybody here has failed at that and they had a really bad experience, I'd love to know what you struggled with so we can kind of work off that to help make sure that never happens again. So by all means, like raise your hand or put it in the comments. In the meantime, I would love to talk about, so this is a newbie. Not a new beast, it's newer beast, but people trying to sell their show without having shot their show or film. Have you done any
Mm.
of those like found footage type? You're going in, you are getting stock footage and just it's never going to be online. It's only to try to get somebody to understand what the show's
Uh,
about.
this was probably true to like some years ago. I'm on top of like what's happening. I think how things are getting sold now, they want a ready product. So I don't think it's even an option now these days. You need to shoot the entire thing and then do a trailer or not do the trailer. Use like 5 minutes of like best 5 minutes of your film series, whatever that is, and go with it. But if somebody's going to be interested in it, they want this thing already be done. That's how it is. This is like everybody talks about it now. So people like raise the money whichever way possible. There's one thing is that there's a lot of like I just read there's like 35 states offering grants to indie productions. So just which is great. So indie filmmaking is kind of on the rise, like just by the by that fact. Um, but yeah, shoot first and then go approach after.
Douglas, is it true? Douglas asked, is that true of TV series, a pilot that they don't want a clip to go with the Bible? From what I've heard from major showrunners is you're pitching on Zoom and half the time you don't even have much more than just your pitch on Zoom. You're not even turning in lookbooks. Now, one of my showrunners did say that they were still making sort of pitch videos. And maybe I can get her to come on and do something specific for that. I'll make a note to talk about if they're still doing that. What did she do? Wendy equals pitch pilots. But let's face it, most of the time you're selling your people are buying and if they're buying you, you're at a meeting, they're not showing anything. It's really hard to get those meetings in the first place. So I would just have your show tight, know your characters back and forth, know how it could go on for 10 seasons, be able to answer the questions, and then be personable and charming and somebody they want to spend 10 years with. Um,
I gotta add if that's all right, Jen.
yes, please.
There is an exception though. If you already work with that person, with that distributor, and already like gone through this process of like having a ready product and sell them, they might be willing to go uh and fund the rest of the shoot after that because of the relationship is already established. There's a trust built, and you say you bring in like the idea, and that might happen. But I haven't seen that
Well,
lately.
Serge you told me about a project you worked on. They had a season one that they put on YouTube, and you
Hmm.
you made a trailer for season one that actually built such an audience from the
Yeah.
trailer that they got a season two. What went into that? Why was that successful?
Okay. I'm just going to speak from my side, how I saw it, obviously. Um, the show called The Disappointment, the series, it's on YouTube. Um, I funny enough, I've been scouted on Production Hub for a trailer editor by the executive producer they had at that point. And I went in, I watched the entire thing, and I don't know, it's kind of clicked with me. And then I spoke to the showrunner. I said, like, I can make a trailer for you. So it's like he said, I don't want anything long, just 1 minute. So something we can do, something we can use to grow the following and fan base, and then use it for a Kickstarter to fund the second season. I created a trailer. I had no notes. I think this is the best experience I had actually. I got very friendly
How
with the
dare
with the
you? I'm
production.
your best experience.
Uh, so, and then, yeah, they used that video as a trailer for the first season so people can go and watch the first season and then get them on the Kickstarter page and, uh, donate to for the second season. So they grew like thousands of people. I don't even know like how many, but the I think the first goal was like 130,000 for the second season, and then it went over but I don't know how much. The all the data is on the internet. Plus, we also managed to raise another extra 50,000 for post-production. It's
It's
just
like
that's what,
they didn't, but they didn't even tell you up front like what they wanted. You just watched the series and you were like, I got this.
I watched the series and I don't know why, but so like I think that well, like there's this emotional or kind of like personal thing that I really clicked with the show. I totally understood what it is about. And was making notes what I was watching all the way through. And yeah, I just came up with this. And the result is they hired me to edit season two and the trailer and everything goes with it. So yeah.
I mean, don't do your own trailers. Have someone else. You're too close to the story. You've got to let somebody else do it. Um, and I think that with that one we got vertical. We had a few offers. We ended up getting vertical, and then we got our theatrical release, which was my first theatrical in theaters release from that trailer. So good job, Serge.
Thank you.
And I don't know if Dee Dee, if that kind of answers your question, but Dee Dee wants to know like how do you pick how do you hone in on those moments? Like how do you decide what like of all those moments in an hour and a half film, you found these little magic moments. How do you do it? It just comes natural. You don't.
Yeah, I don't have like a formal education on this. I think like I just trained myself to see that and it's just like try to understand the moments I pick out like probably in total is going to be probably 10 minutes in total, right? Of all the moments just like stacking together, maybe even more. And that honing like look at again like from small perspectives and seeing what another two-thirds it can throw out to create that sort of put together so it makes sense from all these little pieces. It's hard to explain. I think I just kind of like got experience at this point, like how to do that.
Amazon, you asked the trailer cost $30,000. I don't know. It might be a conversation I'm missing. Uh,
Oh, was that like when we watched Disappointments one?
maybe.
Yeah, I can tell you exactly how much they paid me because they didn't have any money left. The showrunner paid $600 to me for that trailer, but I got a job,
I think
so
if you're talking about the he had a season. I don't know where the 30,000 is coming from. That's what Dee Dee says it raised 33K on Indiegogo. Oh, I think it's saying, okay, I'm caught up. So basically, Surge did a trailer using season one footage, and then they took that trailer and they raised $33 on Indiegogo because of that trailer. So they were able to make season two with that money. That's where I think I was
hmm
confused. That's
There was not only one campaign, there were a couple of those going, and the numbers I gave you was like a total number. I actually cannot say exact now, but it's somewhere. I made a reel about it like at the beginning of this year. Those exact numbers are on there. It is about 130,000 plus another 50 altogether.
nice. Off of a trailer. That's great. Giannis says, is there a type of trailer where tone is more important than including most of the story plot points? And oh my God, can we just say that Hollywood makes the worst trailers? Because now that I've seen the Spider-Man trailer that I've avoided for so long, I don't have to see the movie anymore because they've showed it all to me. But yes, my trailer I just showed had a lot of story plot points, but it also had tone. Um, what is how do you approach those things?
So let me start with this. Do you guys ever seen on YouTube there's clips of like different trailer editors editing, like for example, Seven as a comedy or editing, I don't know, Guardians of the Galaxy as a love story. So this is a really good kind of trailer editing. What we can do as a trailer editors is to take if it's like one genre and it's been shot like for example as an action or action adventure film, right? But you sell to a certain distributor, and the certain distributor wants to see actual relationships between the character instead of all the action. And this is what we can do, all right? And this is why I hire a trailer editor who knows how to do it. I've done this few times, but it's only in a situation where I think you are working already with the distributor because to cut a cinematic trailer, you kind of try to put everything in there. The story, the ins and outs, the drama, the comedy of it. Yeah. I hope that
I feel like comedy trailers are harder than the drama trailers because the trailer itself has to be probably funnier than the movie in many ways.
Oh yeah. Yes.
It's
Because you're
really
trying to
tough.
sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, okay, I feel like we're getting to the end, and I want to make sure that that you guys are getting your questions answered about your trailers or what you came here to learn. So if there's something we haven't talked about that you want to get some insight on or some advice on, by all means, please uh raise your hand or put it in the comments. Let's get you feeling good about this. It's trailers are hard. They're a hard thing to kind of talk about in this sort of I don't know because it's everything is so different. It's so based on what the show is, what the movie is, what your reason for the trailer is. Is it to sell? Is it to get butts in the seats? Like there's so many different reasons you're making a trailer. And you might have a different trailer for each of those reasons.
Yeah. Or like just submit to a festival. Like there could be a feature film, but to submit to festival, they need their requirements is to have a trailer. Sometimes people just hire me for that. There's a lot
Yeah.
more freedom with that though.
And then there's also now you really got to think about your trailer being able to fit into a vertical box.
Mhm.
So you make your trailer for your theatrical size release and then you go okay well now I need something that's 15 seconds or 30 seconds or even a minute but really short in vertical form. What do you
Yeah.
tend to do you tend to just take the trailer and move it to be vertical? Do you pick different pieces for that? How do you approach?
I've done quite a bunch of reels for different things, and I kind of use that approach. Yeah, just take the trailer that's already been created, get those very important moments out, and then do this is where kind of I personally use like graphic skills and it's because I have to like say like 15, 30 seconds just to tell the story as it's been told in a usual like 16:9 trailer might not work. So it needs to be splashy. So add some extra stuff, graphics, maybe visual effects on top, manipulate the footage a bit. Yeah.
You guys get the point though that like he's really like he's throwing in graphics and things are moving like it has to be social media man no one has an attention span so like it has to continue to move and be fast and go and I think all of our teasers that have done the best on social media have been because we either used music that was already on the site that was very popular music and threw it behind it. Um, or it was just fast. I don't think that our slow trailers have ever worked as well because people, attention span. But Viva asks, can we shoot a scene to sell a show on why is this in my way? Anyway, can we shoot a scene to sell a show or film if we can't afford to shoot an entire pilot, etc.?
Yeah. So definitely have to be really good scene if you attach a pitch to it. But like I said before earlier, about 10 minutes ago, I think, that you'd rather off like shooting the entire thing and coming already ready with a ready product and pitching it that way and use that scene, um, whatever's the best scene is there to show it because obviously a lot of people don't have time to watch the entire thing through.
I'm going to be the anti on that one. I don't think you should. I don't think you should waste money to make a scene. I don't think it's going to do anything for you. I do think that you would be better off shooting fake partial scenes and making a 30-second teaser trailer if you're going to spend money to shoot a scene so that I have more idea of what the show feels like as a whole. Because like, what is your scene going to give to me? I also think you'd be better off shooting a short film that you can put in festivals and try to get some traction with. Even if you shoot it and put it in a web series category or something, but do something that's not the actual show, but that fault leads into that and you're getting work for that. Cause it's just not, it's so much money and so much work. And if someone's going to buy your stuff, they're not going to, I don't know. I've never met anybody that's helped them. And then people go, oh, well, Whiplash was a short and it got made into a feature. How many of those stories though are there? There's not that many.
There's a
Um,
lot more behind the scenes than just like a trailer, obviously.
yeah. Danny asks, have you ever worked with a filmmaker to shoot a proof of concept trailer from a feature or pilot script? Like worked from the beginning? I guess do
Uh,
you mean like to help script it and everything? Is that what you're saying, Danny?
I
But
can. I'm off mute if you guys can hear me. Yeah, so I can
yeah,
probably clarify easier this way. So where the script is already written and the goal is to shoot a proof of concept trailer, but picking like which scenes based on the script would make the most sense to tell a coherent story, but within like a proof of concept trailer essentially. So 2 to 3 minutes or so as a proof of concept, if that helps clarify.
yeah, absolutely. I have not done this, but this is a great idea. You know, there's no rules to it. Definitely. I would go for that. If somebody would come over to me like, hey, do you want to do this? I say, yeah, definitely. Because I've never done
well, I
this
think
before.
too, especially because if you have a full pilot, someone like Serge is instead of giving him the whole pilot later, you're reading it in the same way you're watching, so you can still go, oh, this moment, this moment, this moment.
Yeah.
The only trailer that sticks out for me that did very well and it worked for them was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air drama that someone did a sort of like fake promo pilot for
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. What if it was a drama? Yeah, I remember that
Yeah.
Bel Air. Uh-huh.
And that was done. If you can do it that well and get that much attention, then it's probably worth what you're doing. Um, and I think that's smart. I think it's smart that if you could put something out that you put online, that you try to get people, if you could get people watching it and talking about it, that's how you sell your show, guys.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Put money into it too. It's
Yeah.
gotta look high value, or it's got to.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, to me, it's the same as, I mean, not technically the same, but it's very similar to shooting a short film, but like without all the, like, just what are the most important moments that we need to convey the tone, characters, and everything, as opposed to trying to shoot 10 to 15 minutes. I'd rather
yeah.
just work with a trailer editor, a professional who knows how to, like, these are going to be the most high value scenes, shoot these 3 scenes and we can make a banger like 2 to 3 minutes from it. I would rather do that than
Well,
a
and
five day shoot.
I don't think you even need to shoot the full scenes either. I think you can
Yeah,
just take those bits.
Mm,
Yeah, I think you're
yeah.
thinking really smart, Danny. I like how you're
mm,
thinking.
yeah. Can I add to this? Yeah. Danny, this is great because what we mostly talking about here is the proven things and that's been, we have experienced. What I've noticed as well, like you, Danny, is like asking these questions is every every single production studio I see now are creating their own models, how to push their products out. Their films, the series, they're just figuring that out, like the business model. And this is just proof of it. There's no gatekeeping anymore. There's so many other sources how to get those films and series and whatever else you're making out. And it's just about figuring out something that nobody have done before. And this is great.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
I will reach out to you because that's been my struggle is figuring out like I want to shoot a proof of concept, but as a writer, I can't figure out how to truncate the story enough. So if someone else like who works professionally in, in 90 second to 3 minutes can come in and be like, do this, this, and this, then I'm game for that. I'd rather spend the money to do that than a 5 day shoot for a 15-minute short film.
Sure.
Fucking genius.
Thank you.
Not only is it genius, and you could probably get it done in a day or two, but
Yep.
you can also, Serge, when you're looking at her script, you can think, this isn't a moment in the pilot, but why don't you add this moment, add that moment when you're filming,
Totally.
fill it out. So I think that's great. And you can even make it feel like not just the pilot, but you can make it feel like the whole show. Eric, do
Totally.
you still want to ask a question while we have a few minutes left?
Yeah, piggybacking off, creating pilots and the proof of concept, I actually did that. I created, or I started in a writer's room and we created a writer's room. From that writer's room, we created a pilot. And from that pilot, we got 26 minutes and I cut a trailer, which I got, 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I was, talking to distribution companies and they were like, well, you need what the speaker was saying. They said, we like your pilot and it's really polished, but we need a whole season. So it's reject those. So that's all I wanted to say. And I'll be willing to
Who
show you guys a pilot if you want. And
who
I
was
shot
the
it with
distributor?
black magic cameras
Nice.
specifically.
Who's
So
the distributor that told you that?
Buffalo 8.
because most distributors, yeah, that's where Serge is talking about that they want you to come with your full product and they want you to have the whole season. Because let's say something like a, NBC, ABC, whatever, don't waste your time shooting for them. They're not going to use your pilot. They're going to rewrite it 17 times. They're gonna shoot everything. So don't waste your time. But in your case, what I would say is, can you use, I don't know how long ago that was, but can you use that pilot to make it an even shorter, more epic trailer that gets some crowdfunding going, or somehow gets people to donate to help you make another, 7
So
episodes or something.
So the way I set it up is I have it mapped out and budgeted. If someone wants to give me more money to finish it, I can. If someone wants to buy it, but I decided just to release it on Film Hub because I have 20,000 subscribers. I'm like, well, that's my following, you know. So I
Yeah.
decided to just release it and create another pilot, but this time with the with the goal to complete a whole series instead of just the one pilot, and I was going to make it vertical, and that way
Yeah.
that the episodes were
Well,
shorter.
if you're gonna do vertical, make sure you're following the vertical format because 90 seconds is an episode. Like it's a whole nother beast.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, if you can make a vertical and you can actually have that dramatic format that's like overly dramatic and like
Mhm.
cliffhangers on every episode and all that,
Mhm.
that's smart business move right now.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the goal. So instead of just focuses on as one pilot, it got me in the doors that I wanted to get into. So I wanted to just create something else. And once I release it, if someone circle back and say, "Hey, we really like this. What do you want to do with it?" I'm open to that. But for right now, I'll just let the people decide, how it flows on YouTube. So can I put the trailer in a chat if
Please,
people
please
want to
do.
look at it?
That's because
Okay.
this is our community. Like we should be watching each other's stuff and sharing. And Giannis put something, if you guys scroll back, he's got some film trailers that he did up there. Obviously, Serge, you guys all have his links to go look at the trailers that wouldn't play, plus more that we would have shared. But and maybe Serge, if you want to just all the links you have open, if you send them to me in an email, I can send them out to everybody as well. That just to say, here's all the trailers you couldn't see that we talked
Okay.
about.
All right.
We are at a time, so unless anybody has a burning question, I just want to say thank you all for being here and for your great questions. I know this is a really awkward, hard, weird topic to talk about. Trailers are so personal and subjective. But there are key elements that I think that we've talked about, which are, making sure you have your big expensive moments in there. Make sure you have human connection. If it's a comedy or something for like reality or something, it's fast, it's sizzly. It's lots of graphics for those, lots of graphics for social media. So hopefully you guys got some stuff from this.